What you might hear on the Dad Podcast can be considered offensive. We have explicit content. You have been warned. Proceed with caution.
Titties!
You're listening to the Dad Podcast.
Let's get started.
Fuck those little kids. Yeah. And then I was like, oh shit, wrong one. I turned it down, turned it up, and he's like, I'm like, what? And he just pointed, I was like, oh shit, my bad. And then I turned his up, and then I reached over and I blasted it, and I was like, test. And it was like, I was like, oh, my bad. Poor guy.
It's okay.
But he did good.
Could be all right.
I still think you should have brought the Tesla here. Be like, Tana, drive. Wouldn't be white anymore, though.
Yeah, no shit. It'd be dirty as fuck.
So I want to know, because I've had one white vehicle.
Yeah.
And it was so I went a white Chevy truck, then it went to my black GMC, and now there's gray Chevy truck.
Yep.
So the white Chevy truck, we got rid of it because, so we get it. It wasn't new, it was used, but I think the car dealership was a piece of shit. Second day we had it, we pulled into Albertsons just down the street from our house. Smoke's just coming out of the engine. I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
There was some hose that slipped off. They didn't put it on right or something. We had to have it towed. Find out it really wasn't that important, but still. But then this truck, I have this big old fucking truck, has a huge back seat. The front thing folds up so it can be a huge front seat. You know, we've taken it to Oregon and back and stuff. I think the most it would tow was like 5,000 pounds. Mm-hmm. So that one was all for looks. I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And that was a 2014. So I traded that 2014 in and got like a 1998 GMC.
Yeah.
Which had more upgrades, which I didn't care about. It had the heated seats. It had
Was that the black one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had the sunroof. And it could tow 8,000 pounds, which is why would you get a truck that doesn't tow? What's the point?
I think those tow ratings are, I don't know. I don't trust those fully. And that's just coming from somebody who's towed.
I don't either,
And
but
I'm like, if it says, like, what's your Yukon? Like 9,600 pounds?
her Yukon claims 8,000.
I wouldn't tow 8,000 with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tow, I mean, shit. My Tundra was like 7,800.
My truck
there's no fucking
said when we got it, because it's made for towing, it supposed it has this great tow package with it.
Yep.
It's supposed to be able to tow 9,300 pounds.
Yeah.
This fully loaded with water is 75 to 78 somewhere.
Yep.
And it suffers going to Pine.
Yeah.
So I would never try 9,000 pounds.
Nope.
Not that I have anything that's much, but
If you're
like, what the hell?
if you're towing anything more than 6,000 pounds on a regular basis, you have to
Yeah.
be 2,500.
Yeah.
Like just for safety. I mean, for stopping and for wear and tear on the vehicle. Like your 1,500 might be able to pull that 9,000 pounds.
A mile down the road.
It's gonna fuck that transmission. Your transmission is gonna be like
It's not like that
half
road
of the
is
lifespan.
that steep either.
Nope.
Mountain Home to the, you know which one I'm talking about. That
Yep.
grade. And it's not the first one coming out.
Yeah.
It's the second one around the curve and then up.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not up to like 65 hitting that, if I'm stuck behind somebody else,
Yep.
it slows me down to 40. So if I get up to 65 or if I can hit 70 and there's no cops around, I can hit 70.
Yep.
I slow down to 65 or 60 and I don't feel as bad for the people behind me.
And that's the difference in the 2,500. It's like I don't feel the wind
Yeah.
like you're talking about, headwind or side wind.
And you saw the headwind, 8 miles to the gallon on my
Yep.
truck. Like,
And I think
fuck.
we probably got 20 coming down here, 20 miles a gallon. But, and I can go 80 up anything.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't phase it whatsoever. I don't even feel the difference in like grade.
The next truck, and we were talking about it, and we actually were looking when we got this one. I liked this one, but GMC has, which, and I know GMC, Chevy, same. They have it's called the Elevation.
Yeah.
A little bit more powerful.
Yeah.
But it was also a lot more money.
Yeah.
Almost
Like
double the price.
10,000. Oh.
It was crazy. And but we're thinking I'd rather have a Duramax. They didn't have any when we got it. And of course, you know, this
80.
one started 30,000, that was 80. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be the next, but it's going to have to be. I don't care. I don't need a new, you know, it doesn't have to be fancy, shiny, brand new. I just want it to work and not be in the shop a lot.
They had one.
Which is why I'll never buy a Ford.
I don't think I have it. I can't access it. But so they put up like when they'll get rid of some of our company vehicles occasionally.
Uh-huh.
And they'll send out an email to everybody, like intercompany, like, hey, this is up for grabs. Like, and they put like, if they get multiple people that are interested, they just put you in like a draw.
Oh,
Just
really?
draw a ticket, yeah.
That's cool.
So the last one that they put up was like 2019, or no, it's either 2019 or 2020, but it was a 2500 Duramax GMC, but it was the Denali, black leather interior. I mean, every option, like quad cab, every option you can think of, heated, cooled seats, heads up display, all that stuff. And it had, I think 38,000 miles on it, and they had it for 43, 42.
Damn.
Yeah. And it's like smoking deal because that's like less than trade-in value. But it's only for employees that can buy it, and you have to promise not to flip it, basically. Like, but I was like, damn, I sent it to Tana. I was like, should I get rid of the Dodge and get this? And she's like, if you want, whatever, but I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of like a pain in the ass, but it is a beautiful truck.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a Duramax will be the next one,
Yep.
but I just, again, like I said, I want it running, and I don't want to worry about it.
Yeah.
So when I get used, it's like, do I bring up Fred, my father-in-law, because he's a mechanic, and be like, hey,
Yeah.
I want you to go through. So I want you to go shopping with me so you can look at these
Absolutely.
and tell me if it's worth
Absolutely.
getting, because I don't mind getting used. I prefer used.
You know what? One of the best things I've ever done when I'm like used car shopping is you go on and you kind of have to plan ahead because you'll find a couple Facebook groups for these owners. You'll be like, okay, Chevy Duramax owner, whatever, and find a Facebook group. So try to subscribe to it, but it takes them like sometimes a week to like add you on there. And then you just post on there. You're like, hey, I'm looking at a Duramax between this year and this year. Like, what are some things I should look out for? What are some years I should stay away from?
Just on Facebook or?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's all people that like are just super into that specific vehicle. They're in a Facebook group that belongs to that vehicle. There'll be 50 people that'll comment on it and tell you what to look for, what to stay away from.
Okay.
Like, and they're all people that like have real world experience. They've spent their own money, like either fixing these problems or avoiding them. And, a lot of them are like mechanics. They work on it themselves. They're just super knowledgeable. Like they're tapping into like a ton of knowledge.
Well, I asked my father-in-law too, like just buying the side-by-side.
Yeah.
When I got the Razor, I was like, what do you think? Because obviously I wanted the Can-Am. I'm a big guy. It was more comfortable for me. There's more leg room. But I was like, what do I look for? And he actually told me that like the Polaris are known to roll because they're more top heavy. They sit high. The roof is even higher.
Yeah.
But this it's been pretty good. I haven't rolled it yet. I'm sure I will, but I haven't yet. It was close.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I called him and asked that too. And I was like, okay, well, we asked him on, I think with the black GMC, my last truck, it's this. My biggest problem with that was we saw Lex was watching for some reason.
Yeah.
And she saw it come up and it was cheap and it actually saved us money by getting rid of the 2014 and going to that. But it was at a Ford dealership first off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't inspected. Like she somehow saw it before it even, like the day it got there somehow. I don't know how she
just fresh trade.
Yeah.
That's why they cut you a deal on that. Cause
and look,
do any of that.
It was, I don't want to say it was fine because it wasn't. Twice a year I had to go to Jerome for a week to be in the shop to fix something. But when it was running, it was fine.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever towed anything more than the work trailer or help like my buddy Jeff move or somebody else move, towing a trailer with that. I never towed campers or anything, but it should have towed. I just don't know. It had the 6.3. It had a good engine. It just had other issues, electrical problems.
That's what it always is with GMC and Chevy. In my experience, is always like weird electrical things. And it's hard, like, it's not like an easy fix where you take it in. They're like, okay, cool. You just need like a new power window module or whatever.
Something's gone for a week.
Yeah, it's like, cool. There's a short somewhere in this fucking system. We don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And it's like, it's always super unrelated. It's like, okay, I can't roll down my driver's side window, but also cruise control doesn't work. It's like, those are so unrelated. Like,
I remember, even though it was old and used and whatever, I do remember, like, I was researching it when I had the truck.
Yeah.
It actually had, because the mirrors had this weird thing on it, it had heated mirrors and for some reason heated washer fluid. It would warm up the washer fluid, which is cool. But then there was a recall and they're like, don't use it. I was like, I wouldn't anyways. Yeah. I wouldn't use the heated washer fluid anyways. I don't know. It's just weird. And I'm like, whatever, just normal washer fluid. Or I just defrost my truck because it had the remote start. I just start it and then 5 minutes later come out. I don't need, but I'm guessing it was more for like, I don't know, fucking Michigan or anywhere it's colder.
Yeah.
They need that kind of shit when it gets really cold. But
I've definitely like gotten in a car before and it's like it won't dispense because it's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why do you need it to dispense during freezing times?
It's easier to defrost your shit when you it's just like use like washer fluid.
Yeah. Now, I was stupid when I was younger. I would just like get a cup of hot water. I was like, I ain't got time for this, and I just throw it on the windshield. I'm sure I've cracked many a windshield.
The windshield, yeah.
I'm sure I fucked shit up a couple times. Whatever. I was lazy. I was young. It is what it is. But I don't think I'd ever use the heated mirrors were pretty cool. The side view mirrors because
you don't scrape
even with defrost. Yeah, and it's too small. I mean, what do you got, a little baby scraper? But I've been through the time too where like I didn't have a scraper.
Yep.
So I'm at the fucking credit card or my library card, and I'm just scraping the window.
Plenty of times, bro.
The old Chevy Beretta, just CD case, and I'm scraping the window.
I've done that too.
It works. But I don't know. I will never buy a Ford pickup.
No. I'll never buy a Ford again. I mean,
I don't think I will any Ford. Yeah, I was
like the Mustang. Like,
I take it back. I will, but it's got to be like the olders, like the 69s.
Yeah.
The old school muscle car Mustang. I would get that. Maybe an old Ford pickup, but it'd be more for looks. I don't know if I'd drive it much because they were really cool looking back then. I am a Chevy guy. I'll never buy a Nissan. The cars are small. I mean, low to the ground small.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It's hard getting in and out of. I mean, just when we drove to Reno and yours, like you saw me trying to get in and out of that. It sucked. It's horrible. I'm heavy.
That's a Honda, bro, not Nissan.
Whatever. Close enough. They're both little cars.
That is the best car I've ever had, though, man. It's fucking.
It's lasted you. And Lexus, what did she have? She had an Altima, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing was rear-ended so bad.
Yep.
3 different times. I mean, it lasted.
It's solid.
Yeah, but it's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dodge is like.
Yeah.
It's one of those like I like the look, but I would rather have a Duramax over the Dodge diesel. But I don't hate Dodge.
Cummins are great.
If that makes sense, like I won't talk shit about them. It's just like
I don't really see.
I have my likes and
a big, like I would definitely go Duramax. Or obviously Cummins, but probably wouldn't go Power Stroke. Like just because Ford, I think Ford like. The 7.3 Power Stroke is like an iconic motor. That thing lasts forever. 6.0, 6.7, fucking garbage. I think your dad has a 6.7.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking garbage,
I think so,
dude.
And he paid so much money for that thing because it's the King Ranch that we're talking about.
They're garbage.
He towed from Twin Falls to Glens Ferry, which is like a half-hour drive.
Yep.
His truck died.
Yeah.
He had to have somebody come tow him back. So his friend with the same Ford comes to him. His truck died.
Yeah, of course.
So I had to call somebody to tow. Yeah, it's like...
Yep.
Yeah, you still think this is like a great vehicle and it's so wonderful. I'm like, you couldn't make it 50 miles.
Ford's just fucking, they have no quality control anymore. And it shows in like the resale value. So like the Mustang, like we had that, we bought it for what, 29, 20, no, maybe it was 28.
That's pretty good though.
It was 28. It lost like a third of its value in a year.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was an argument my dad had. So when I was talking shit about it, he's like, you just hate it because your father-in-law. I was like, no. I was like, Fred doesn't hate Fords. He just says he knows what keeps him in business.
Yeah.
I said, my biggest thing is that when I'm looking for vehicles, you know what the most traded in vehicle is a Ford.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, well, you know what the highest sales in Idaho are? I was like, probably a Ford, but look at the people.
Yep.
I ain't buying no foreign shit. Yep. I'm getting straight up American built. And I'm like,
but they're made in Mexico. The F-150s, I think, are made in Mexico.
They won't think about that because Ford's an American company. That
the Tundras are made in the U.S.
Most of the components inside it are made Asia or somewhere else and shipped here.
But I mean, as far as like assembly, like Ford's all made in Mexico
and then shipped up here.
Tundras are made in like the U.S. and Canada.
It'd be funny if you
primarily in the U.S.
Looking underneath like a Ford, you roll under the change oil pen. There's like a made in Mexico sticker, like on the furniture.
Dude.
That'd be hilarious.
Hencho in Mexico,
Vietnam.
Hencho. No, they're just, and I think it's kind of like it's a weird thing for me too, because like the Fords, like the F-150 specifically, are very good looking trucks. I think out of like all the trucks, I do like the look of the new GMCs and Chevys, but the F-150s
Like the one we saw today,
look
the
beautiful.
Duramax with the scoop on the hood. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, but I mean, the F-150s look beautiful, man. But like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go pay $65,000 for a fucking 1,500 truck,
For the look.
and it's gonna be worth 40 in a year. And
If you can keep it out of the shop.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fucking breaking down constantly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a piece of shit, man. They're not made to like go over 100,000 miles. Like, I don't know. It's just not. It's not appealing to me.
No. Yeah. So going back to I know you're not a realtor, but you're in that kind of business. The looks, what would be the one car? Would it be a Tesla that you would prefer to drive around? Or if you could pick a car, price wasn't a matter. Obviously, you don't want to pull up in a freaking McLaren or a Lamborghini.
No,
not in this area for sure, but
it's weird too.
What would be the car you would choose?
Over the years, it's changed a lot. Like, and I do have like a laundry list of like vehicles. Like if I had like a Jay Leno Garage.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Some cool shit. Like I would have like, but it's all kind of one-off ones. Like I'd have like an old school Toyota MR2, like a '92 Toyota MR2.
You already know what Toyota I would
turbo. I'd have an old Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
I'd have
back when they were squared and looking cool.
No,
or
like the blue, like like the baby blue ones. Like the old school, like baby blue Land Cruisers that look like kind of like the FJ Cruiser.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I'd have like an old RX-8. I'd have an old NSX, Acura NSX. I'd have an old C10 Chevy pickup truck, like single cab, probably lowered. I'd have like an old school, like maybe 70s F-250 single cab, short bed.
Back
like
when they look really cool.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I definitely have an old Viper. Like the Vipers are just beautiful cars.
They were awesome. Yeah, when they were out, they were awesome.
But today,
What about the Prowler? Like the original?
I do like the old Prowler.
Yeah.
The Prowler is beautiful, man. They're just way underpowered, but they're cool looking. Yeah, a lot of those kind of ones. Like, I mean, I definitely have an old Honda CRX, man. I still love the CRXs.
See, I think we're different in our garages.
Yeah.
Like if I could have a Jay Leno garage, I have like a Volkswagen thing. I definitely would have the fucking hippie van.
Pontiac Aztek.
I don't, no.
It's like the thing. It's pretty much.
I would
the new
definitely
thing.
want a Mustang, like a '69. I would love Eleanor. A couple muscle cars because I like the old Chevelles.
Yep.
The old Camaros, like something. I would even have probably a Thunderbird. They were just cool looking for me, like but just older cars like that. And then like the Thing or just the weird a Carmageia. Some of those weirder
DeLorean.
Oh, dude, if I could get I actually saw one driving down the street that I was like,
they're kind of cool.
Yeah, they weren't a great car.
No.
But yeah, I would have that in my garage. I probably wouldn't have many new cars. I just don't like the new ones.
For me, cars are all about. I mean, I do appreciate the aesthetics a lot. Like that's a huge selling point for me. The performance is like a big part for me, though.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see the evolution because back in like the '60s, like the Mustang, those cars like they were racing, like, and they were like the fastest cars on the road. Their specs are like so. It's
compared to what you can get,
my God, dude! Like you can get like an entry model like Honda Civic that would like blow the doors off of a fucking '69 Mustang, like a stock '69 Mustang.
Yeah.
And even the Viper, like the Tesla smokes the Viper.
Which I get that, and that's
wild, dude.
That's probably the coolest thing about the Tesla is because it's electric, but it has that much fucking power,
ton of torque.
What was it? Lex had I can't. Maybe it wasn't her car. I know I rented one in Texas with my dad, and we got one of those stupid fucking Scion boxes.
Oh yeah,
and we're trying to get on the freeway. There ain't no goddamn balls now. I was like, Dad, we're gonna fucking die. I can't get this thing over 40 getting onto the freeway. And you know the freeway in Texas is crazy. It's like California.
Yeah. The Scion XB.
Fucking scary as shit. I'm like, I'm going to die in a goddamn cracker box. And some of those I don't get. Or I'm like, I keep looking out the window at cars every time I'm like, a dog with a fucking squirrel. I'm like, what's that? I see something moving. I look out there, but I'm just sitting here looking right now as we're talking about cars. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of trucks because you tow in the campers, but I'm seeing some of these like boxy cars, and I don't get the appeal of those. Yeah, they're very squared. Like I don't know what the silver one is right here.
That's a Jeep Liberty,
but it's just okay. And Jeep's another one that just fucking went downhill. Straight downhill.
It's because they're Fiat now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's Fiat.
So my Jeep and the one I loved still had the original AMC engine in it.
Yeah,
it was so easy to work on. It was awesome.
Yeah,
sure the gas mileage sucked. I think I got 8 miles to the gallon on that thing, but it's not like I went anywhere. I went from here to work and back. You know, whatever. It was great. And then like Carter's I think was getting close to the end of the good Jeeps. His is a 95. Yeah. And I don't think there were many after that. So Jim,
I think in like I think they kind of phased out that body style. I think it was 98 or 99.
Well, that's what I mean. It was like near. It wasn't the last, but it wasn't.
They used to.
Wasn't 20 years after. It was close to his.
The Cherokee that we had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I think it was a 98, but it had like the 5.0. I think it was a 5.9 V8. It had the huge fucking V8 in it. That thing was like, it was a beast. But
I do remember when I got mine, my mom freaked out. Like, they tip over so much. Like, Mom, you're thinking of the Suzuki Sidekick that they tried to make look like a Jeep.
Those are iconic too, man.
Yeah. Dumbest car in the fucking world, but they are.
Do you remember the Isuzu Via-Cross?
I don't know.
They're weird looking. And they were cool. They kind of look like a mix between a Sidekick and a Jeep, but even a little bit more like futuristic. Like it was rounded a little bit. And they had a big like V6. They were quick, man. Like for what they were. They're really rare though. They didn't make a ton of them.
One, I don't know if you remember because this is when I was in high school. So you were probably like 6th grade, 5th grade. Because you're the same age as my wife, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little bit older.
You were in like 5th or 6th grade. The Subaru Brat. Yeah, it was like the new fucking version of the fucking God damn it, El Camino. Yeah. You know, I had a friend of mine, she had a Subaru Brat. And that's the one like weird, I'm like, what the fuck is this thing?
It was lamer than an El Camino.
Couldn't even fit a recliner in the bed of that thing. Like, what's the point of this?
But now they've remade them as the Crosstrek. Is that what it is?
Oh, yes, I did see that. And I was like,
Subaru Crosstrek, they're hideous.
I don't like the Chevy Avalanche.
Nope.
Any of them that make them like that. Nope. I think Nissan has one. I know Ford has one.
Yep.
It's not a truck. What the fuck is the point of it?
It looks retarded.
Like, yeah, it doesn't even look cool. Like, I don't get it. Like, you feel like you're in a truck because you can't tow anything. You can't haul anything in the bed.
I feel like if they remade the El Camino or the, what's the Ford one?
Fuck that, dude. I love that El Camino. Ford Ranchero? Yeah. Dude, I love the Camino. I like the way it looks.
I think they could do well with
It's like almost a Camaro front with like that. You know,
I think
little
if they
tiny
did
truck
it right, like it would be pretty cool.
I think they need to make more cars nowadays where they try to make it look like the old school muscle car it used to be.
I agree.
Because that would get me into liking more new cars. So I'm with you. I speed. I love going fast.
Yeah.
The power aspect is awesome, but I love the looks. I also like, and that's probably why they weren't fast. Back in those days, it was all made with fucking steel.
Yeah.
Not fiberglass and shit. So I like, they built to last. Like, you're not going to see one of these fucking new cars 50 years down the road still on the road, unless it's set in someone's garage. But you're still going to see a 69 Mustang out there.
Yeah.
Because they were built to last if you took care of them, obviously. I mean, metal does rust too, but.
That's why I think they missed on the new Broncos. I'm like, what?
That could have been so much cooler. We had a Ford Bronco in high school, and I loved it. We also had a Chevy Blazer. Take that back off.
It all up. It's like they made it just. It's like a glorified Jeep, and there's such a fan crew behind it. Like, but I look at it, I'm like, you paid how much for that? It's fucking lame. And
they call it the Sport. I'm like,
they're just piles of shit.
Yeah,
they're literally piles of shit. Like, so cheaply made. Slapped together. It's all aesthetics, no performance, no nothing. Like, I just not sold on it.
You can. Oh, I think that's the probably thing is because you can still take that back roof off, like the old Ford Bronco and stuff did.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm eyeballing out here. Somebody drove a fucking smart car out here to the campgrounds. 1, 2, 3. The fourth one, the last one down there.
Oh,
See the little square top
one?
What the? That's a Mercedes too.
Yeah, Mercedes smart car.
So I was telling Riley we were riding our bikes the other night. And we rode by one of the smart cars. And he's like, Dad, look at that car. I was like, no. Here's the thing, son. If we can pick that up and put it in the bed of my truck, it's not a fucking car. It's a toy.
I think they get like 60 miles a gallon though.
But that's so dangerous.
Yeah, if you get in a wreck, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's a
You
coffin
are
on wheels.
fucked.
It's ridiculous. Now, I'm not going to lie. The old Stingray Corvettes were also a coffin on wheels,
Yeah.
but they were so cool looking.
Oh, I didn't screenshot it. Did you see on Boise Bad Drivers the other day the Corvette on Eagle Road?
I don't remember. I might have because I do follow it.
Oh, man.
I follow it because I'm keep waiting for my truck to show up on there.
There was like this 26-year-old kid driving down Eagle Road, and there wasn't any details on like what caused it, but
A 26-year-old kid.
the dude had to be going over 100 miles an hour. So
Was he in? He's in a Corvette. Is that what you're saying?
in a Corvette, and it was like not a brand new one, but I think it was a C6 Corvette, so it's probably like, I don't know, probably a 2012, 2013, something like that. But he wrapped it around a pole.
Fuck.
It cut it in half.
Yeah.
Like literally the only thing that was left that was distinguishable was like the two seats and then a little bit of the front hood. That was it. And I'm like, how the fuck is that the only thing left? And he survived.
He walked
it.
away. You Jesus.
Yeah. But
That's crazy.
I'll have to show you it. Like I meant to.
It must
screenshot
have
the
just
other
go
day.
right by the side of him or something. Because holy shit,
It was fucking toast.
maybe
man.
he dove out before it hit it.
There was like one wheel remaining on the car. Like the whole back half behind like the seats was just in like a pile of rubble behind like this pole.
Damn.
And then it was just the front. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie,
wild,
dude. The newer Corvettes look fucking sweet.
They do look sweet.
The look of them is awesome, and I know they're
Yeah.
fast, but
Not as fast as a Tesla.
same thing. If you hit something, you're fucked.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
car other than, and I don't even like, I would say that I felt safe in, and not that I feel 100% safe in my pickup. I know a lot of that's like cheaper shit that's going to fold if I roll it.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was in 1970 or 1972. Chevy Impala we drove in high school. It was Marvin's.
Oh, yeah.
It fucker was piss yellow,
Yeah.
the size of a goddamn limo.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that thing was
Solid
built.
steel.
Yeah.
Solid steel.
I used to joke that, like, dude, if I get in a head-on collision, I can just count the folds in the hood and hop in the back seat, and I'll be safe.
Yeah.
Like, it was so massive. And that trunk, we could fit, I think we fit 8 to 10 people in it when we went to the theater or to the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how old I am. We had drive-ins back then. And then we popped the trunk. You just see people pound like it's a fucking clown car. But it was awesome.
Yeah.
And the look was kind of cool, too.
Yeah.
I mean, back then I was bitching.
I do.
I'm in high school. I'm like, driving this fucking piece of shit. Everybody's
Yeah.
got these nice cars. But
Yeah.
I loved it, dude. It was awesome.
My first car was a 1970 Buick LeSabre, and I
Nice.
bought it in twin, actually, from an estate sale for $500, and it had 30,000 original miles on it.
Huh.
It had a big like 350 in it. The same thing. It was just solid steel.
Yeah.
But it also got 8 miles to the gallon or whatever. And
Do you remember the movie Gone in 60 Seconds?
yeah, of course.
That was a Buick. Remember when the cop comes and he's like, there's the cocaine at the end of it because he stole a drug car. And he's like revving the engine to get it to blow the cocaine dust so the cop doesn't see it. It was a Buick, but what was
I
it?
think that was a Cadillac.
Was it a Cadillac?
think
Because
it
I
was a
remember him
Cadillac,
saying,
but I don't remember.
because they were in the not remodeling,
Yeah, like the restoration.
restoration, yeah. And the cop's like, who would restore so-and-so? I thought he said Buick, but
I don't know. I don't remember what
I know
car
it was kind
I
of
know
like
what
the
scene you're
squared
talking
front.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you said the Buick, I thought that's what it was. But maybe, did Buick make a Le Mans?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was? I don't know.
Yeah.
But that made me think of
Yeah.
that scene.
I remember
and
that
so I was
scene. Yeah. Like,
Because he was like questioning why they would restore it. And he's like, get in, now rev it, push it. And they're getting him to blow the cocaine. But it had the power.
it just had the sound.
Well,
Like, that's what I was kind of like worried about. Like the Tesla thing is like, okay.
yeah, it's got the fart sound. It's got,
Yeah, but I was like, okay, does that take away? Because when you're in a car and you hit the gas, like performance wise, like the sound feedback is like a part of that experience.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
You almost, the sound of going fast is almost like the same as like the feeling of going
Mm-hmm.
fast. So it's like, does that take away from that? Like, it does not.
no.
It does not.
You know, I don't know if I've ever heard a Tesla going fast, if that makes sense.
You don't.
Because the only time I've,
you don't hear anything.
okay, I was say the only time I've
Yeah.
ever really seen a Tesla in real life is passing it.
Yeah.
Or seeing one on the on the road. Like I've
quiet.
never like.
They make a little bit of sound like when you are reversing or something, like almost like it's kind of like a futuristic like starship. It does this little like like kind of thing. But other than that, it's
I like
quiet.
to joke, and I'm like, yeah, when it goes by, it's like it's the freaking Jetsons, car. Like, but
Yeah.
I know it's the future. I know they're coming. But like I said, I'm a truck guy, and I
Yeah.
want it to tow, and I can't get past that.
If they got the range dialed in on like towing, like the Cybertruck is pretty fucking badass.
Like being able to tow it to Pine, so what, hour and a half, 2 hours away, staying there for 4 days, then being able to tow it home without that fucking battery dying on me.
Yeah.
That's what I would need.
Yeah.
And until then, I can't get past having a diesel or a gasoline vehicle so that I can do that. Because
Cybertruck would definitely tow there. I don't know about leaving it for 4 days, but
well, and then like somebody's like, well, just plug it in your generator. I was like, well, I need the generator for the camper.
generator wouldn't charge it fast
So
enough.
then what am I going to do? Carry out 8 gallons or 8 containers, each 5 gallons gas to keep my generator running?
Charge it long enough.
Kind of defeats the purpose of an electric vehicle if I have to carry around all this fucking gasoline to run the generator to charge it. So it's just one of those things. And like I said, even if I got one for my day-to-day, I'd be fine. I'd still want the truck because I like trucks. I'm a truck guy. Unless you could find an electric vehicle that looks like a 69 Mustang. That would be awesome too.
You could retrofit it.
See, that would be awesome.
Sure. People have pulled out, like, put motors in the Teslas, like reversed.
I wouldn't I wouldn't do that.
Which is weird.
Because the one thing I don't like about the Teslas is the look.
Yeah.
Again, haven't really been up close and seen one in person. I just don't. I mean, to me, it's very close to every other new car on the shape and the style, and I like unique. I like the Cybertruck. I want it to be different.
Cybertruck's way different.
I want it to look different. And I hated that until I researched it a little bit more.
It's fucking cool.
And yeah,
Way cool.
There's a lot of cool shit with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, this is pretty sweet.
It is way cool. But I don't know. They were already supposed to be producing them. They're ways out.
Well, and that's again, so we were talking the other night or last night, and after watching that documentary, and I get what you're saying as far as needing the visionary or however you put it for that.
Yep.
I don't think that was cool to not listen to your scientists helping you and just skip through everything.
Well, because
and I get you're going to have those accidents.
Rules are made to be broken.
But you wanted it pushed out that fast that it caused all these problems.
Rules are made to be broken, I think.
Agreed.
And
it's only illegal if you get caught.
But if there's no one pushing like the consensus, there's never any like change or development. And a lot of times there's a lot of people like in especially kind of those roles, those like regulatory roles that are resistant to change because they know it by these like certain parameters. Right?
Yeah.
And
shit, in so many areas. I mean, even in day-to-day life and normal work.
They're like, this is how it is, and this is how it's always been. And like, this is how we have to do this. And you have like somebody that comes in and thinks about it in a completely different perspective. And they're like,
they can't be back already, can they? They're back already.
Weird.
It's only half an hour.
Yeah. But if they're like they think about it in a different perspective and they're like, think about the possibility rather than like the unpossibility. It's like it changes. It like that's where change comes from, dude.
I get it.
There's been a lot of visionaries that have been like ostracized over history that have like changed humanity for the better in the long run.
I do get without that pushing it through, you won't know where the blind spots, the accidents are.
Yeah.
But would you be want to be one of those people who got that one that first time you drive it with the what do you call it, the automated whatever,
The autopilot, yeah.
The autopilot, and it wrecked, and you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, like I
now,
said,
if it was say, hey, we're not going to charge you, we want you to test drive this for a year.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'm all in. Wreck it, whatever. But if I pay $60,000 for a car that says it can drive autopilot and then it wrecks itself the first time I'm out, I'm going to be pissed.
yeah, I mean, it gets insurance pays for it, but also, like I said, I think I know it's kind of counterintuitive. Like most people like are super sketched out by the idea of like an autonomous vehicle, you know?
I'm not sketched out by it, but
I think it's safer than human beings. Even in its infancy, like safer than human beings. I say
safer than a lot.
I see stupid fucking people on the road
Oh,
every day.
all the time. My kids hear me yelling because I get road rage, but I keep it inside the cab. Like, I'm not one of those that's like fucking rolling on my window and yelling at everybody else.
Yeah.
There are so many idiots on the road.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it used to be like, oh, shit, here's snow. All the idiots are coming out. Yeah. Now it doesn't matter if it's snow, if it's rain, if it's sunny. It doesn't matter. It's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, I don't see anything not healed.
Did it peel at all after that?
No. You know, it's weird, and I don't know if it's because of where it at or if like growing hair, because obviously I shaved it for right here.
Yeah.
This one, I still, every once in a while, it just itches like crazy.
I've got a couple like naughty spots where they're like, it's like almost scar tissue.
Yeah.
I mean, it itches, kind of same thing on this one.
Anyways, yeah, no, it never peeled, but yeah, right there. And I don't know if it's, like I said, part of it was like maybe Carter went too deep because he was. Carter is not light-handed. Yeah. And that's a spot that hurts already.
Is it an old school tattoo gun? Like the
yes, yeah.
Those are more abrasive too, man. Like I've gotten tattooed a couple times by the newer guns, and this one was a newer gun. It's silent.
Does it look like the pen with like a thick bottom? And
I didn't even look, honestly. But it's like silent. I mean,
because we've got Carter a couple of those. They're wireless.
Yeah.
And they're just little pens, but we got it because he can put like 4 to 8 needles, whatever, in it.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for coloring and shading because it fills more space.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my biggest thing. The only like none of these ever hurt except for this one that Carter did. But like I said, it's obviously. I mean, I was talking to tattoo guys. That's a very tender, anyways, because right here is where it really hurt.
It's very
straight
tender.
bone. There's no.
Yeah.
But he's also like he did a tattoo on my mom, and he's not light-handed, so it's like it was almost like and just drug it instead of like you know. And so it's like God, okay.
Yep, because it pulls the skin.
And I think that's why he's never finished it because I bitched that day and I'm like, I want it done. I'm about ready to get somebody else to color it, but then
that opposite side of the arm though is not that tender. I didn't find the inside of the bicep is pretty
like
fucking
I said,
tender.
This was not bad.
Yeah.
Until he kept going over it, and then he'd clean it with the stuff, and then get a little burn. I'm like, all right, he's done. I'm like, motherfucker,
stop with the fucking paper towel, god damn it,
you dick, knock it off.
Why do you wipe it 500 times?
Just color and go, man. Color and go.
But you can't. I watched them tattoo the skin because they go over it, and then its ink pools up, so they can't see what they're tattooing.
Yeah,
that's why they
so
keep wiping it.
They gotta wipe that all off. Yeah. But he would like, I don't know, his lotion, cleaner, what?
Yeah.
And it would give a little burn because obviously it's a fresh wound pretty much.
Yep.
But so I want one here, and I'm like, this one probably won't hurt much. Because my wrist right there, that didn't hurt at all.
Oh, fuck. The wrist hurt like crazy.
Yeah, but you have, so like I just have the 3 letters and the dots.
Well, you're a little bit, I guess we're about the same.
Oh, I'm a little fatter? Yeah, I know.
No, I was saying you're a little bit higher up on the wrist, but I guess we're probably about the same.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
I do want to
that fucking hurt, man.
Finish that off and kind of make it a bracelet or something, maybe with their dates or some shit. I don't know yet.
That was a quick one. I mean, that only took 15 minutes, but
the spot I'm worried about is up under here.
That hurts.
Yeah. And because it's going to be barbed wire, and I don't know if I'll probably have at least one here.
The inside of the bicep is tender.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
Which is like so weird because I thought it was more where there's bone and not a lot of meat, and there's not.
But it doesn't, I felt 2 different types of tattoo pain. I felt like the grinding, like it's like on bone kind of thing. That's a different pain than the burning. Like in the really soft tissue areas, it's like a burn. Like it feels like you're literally being burned. Like,
I think maybe I'll do the 3 arrows there. There's not a lot of color. Yeah. It's straight lines. Yeah. There's no, because that's what I was doing, all the protection symbols kind of thing.
Yeah.
And 3 arrows is one. If it points to the left or the right is protection, up or down is something else. But maybe I'll put that there because
a little bit less tattoo ink.
So it's the 3 arrows with a lot of space in between, and then the
it's also
stitches around it. There'll still be that too, but it won't be.
And it's a lot of line work.
It won't be this. A lot of coloring and shit.
I think the coloring is where, because they're literally like circling in the same area for a while.
Yes, where it's already tender because they already got you, and then they're going back in there.
So it's like
again.
an extended burn.
Yeah.
Whereas the line work is like they're moving across, and it's not like as just repetitive in that same area. So I feel like, because I felt that too. It's like, okay, line work, like I felt some, like line work's less needles though. So I felt some line work that's a little bit brutal too. Like, so I don't know. I mean,
it could all depend on how thick of the needle they're going and how thick you want the thing too. Like they could be using a smaller needle to get straighter lines, but then they got to go over it more times.
Well, I bet you like Colleen's tattoo today on her forearm, like I think a lot, like some of those lines were super fine. Those are maybe like 1 to 3 needles, like super fine. And so all that's like concentrated in that one area, but that's also where she got it is not, I don't think is super painful.
No.
area. Like the forearm is
like this, none of this bothered me at all.
No.
And like I said, this one wasn't bad.
No.
But again, it's 3 letters. I mean, they're not thin, but they're not thick. So it's not like it was a whole lot of over and over and over and over again. But this one, again, it wasn't like, oh, you got to stop that. It was like, fuck, dude. Like you said, stop
Stop wiping it, please.
Can you use like an aloe vera wipe or something? It wasn't the paper towels.
No, dude.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a cold and you blow your nose like 1,500 times.
Yeah, and it's like raw.
Yeah,
you're like,
and you're just like, I can't do it.
So you do it again, you're like,
dab,
dab,
yeah,
dab,
you dab it. And then you try to plug your nose, but
and those stupid tissues, they're softer on your skin because there's aloe. No, they don't help at all.
No, not at all, bro.
Still fucking hurts.
It's like sandpaper.
Oh, they're separating. They must have fought. Riley's on the path, and Mila's like, fuck you, I'm going with the shovel this way.
Yep, they definitely fought. Definitely.
So one of the things I had on my notes to bring up, which I wanted to bring up with all 4 of us, but I don't know when that's going to happen. So at work, and this is something I was kind of talking about.
Yeah.
There's this guy. He's 19, and we hired him. He works with Carter in the warehouse, and he's very religious. Well, now he's into his religion. When he first started, he was like, buy me a beer. He was drinking beer. He's smoking pot.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, God says no, so I can't do that.
Is
and all
he
this
on a
kind of
recovery
stuff.
plan?
I don't know what's up with him. Like he's from Lewiston. His parents live in Lewiston. He lives here, right? Do we want this one again too? And he the other day we were talking, and Jeff did the whole, how much would it cost to let a man do you in the butt kind of thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, nothing. It's against my religion. That's wrong. And I'm like, no money at all? I have a moral compass, and gays don't have a moral compass. And I'm like, excuse me? And that just instantly pissed me off.
Yeah.
And the people that it would affect, they're like, just ignore it, whatever. But then it's like, he stopped doing things with those people. He stopped going to lunch and getting rides. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So I bring that up to my boss. I'm like, here's the deal. There's nothing that was straight up done.
Yeah.
But if something is, you will have to speak to this person, even though I'm the direct supervisor, because I will not be able to separate dad from boss. I'm gonna flip out. And
it's weird to me. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but
no, I was done.
I guess if you want to base a moral compass on just somebody's like sexual lifestyle, I mean, I guess that's the only way to justify that perception from people in that regard. Like, but a lot of the gay people that I've met are some of like the best people because they've been persecuted or they've been like judged, and so
Car's totally going the wrong way.
they've learned, I guess, the best in people from the worst in people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that I think encounter that level of adversity and like in human beings, like they develop this righteousness because they're like, that's not how I want to be. Like, I don't want to treat people like I've been treated, kind of thing, you know? And like I said, a lot of the gay people I've met, it's like, they're fucking phenomenal people, dude.
Yeah.
They're like, they have a very righteous moral compass. Mm-hmm. Besides the fact that they just like to have sex differently than some people do. Like, it's
hate
like, who fucking
anybody.
cares?
You know what I mean?
I don't care about
they
that.
are like some of the nicest people. There's like no hate in them.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, like
there are some that do. I mean, and I'm not like trying to.
They're not perfect. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Well, and I'm not trying to classify people in a sense of like, okay, all gay people are great. Like I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, no.
But I'm just saying you can't, like, the gay people that I met have been all fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Same with
some of them are really good friends of mine. Like, but I also think like if you, I just don't think it's like right. You can't characterize somebody like their ethics or their morals based upon their sexual
and who they love,
desires, and their
whatever.
sexual preference.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I mean, it's like, does anybody else? I mean, besides like,
It hurts you not at all.
No.
If one man wants to have sex with another man,
No.
it does. It so butt out.
no.
Who cares?
Besides locker room talk of like guys at work and like talking about sex, friends, you know, talking about sex, whatever, and ladies talking about sex, like, who broadcasts their sexual lives?
God, I don't walk out.
Most people don't.
no.
So if you
They don't
know
put it
about
online.
it
Ooh,
doesn't
I just fucked a dude last night.
Yeah,
Like, nobody cares.
You don't even know, dude. And like, if somebody didn't have to, okay, if you had to classify yourself as a genre of society, like gay people do, because they almost have to like come out to be like accepted, like
Yeah.
they have to come out and let it be known because
They can't live their life normally. Like
they can't. Like
They gotta-
it's
it's just
like
dumb.
why are you hanging out with that guy? Why are you hanging out with that girl? Like, I mean, eventually it has to be admitted. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If you had to do that for the same thing of like other sexual taboos, like what if somebody like that people that like to be shit on had to fucking broadcast that to the world and like would people think the same? They probably. I mean. It's gross.
or these
but,
people, you know, like all
I
these
don't
people
care.
who are into the BDSM and the you know,
yeah.
being whipped and all that. Like they don't, they hide that. They don't like bring it out. So
Yeah.
how would they feel if they had to? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, totally. How would they
And-
feel if they had to?
So when he said that, dude, I flipped out, which I probably shouldn't have as a boss. But I was like, do you know what your religion is built on? It's like, do you know what? Because we're Roman Catholic. Do you know what the Romans did? They married wives. These are wives to produce children, but they laid with boys for fun sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what your higher ups in the church do? Like, stop.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off. I flipped out. And that day I did that. And then, like I said, then it came down to where like things just changed.
Yeah.
And so then that's when I brought it up to my boss. Well, then yesterday I get that text from somebody and it pissed me the fuck off
Yeah.
when he just comes out, mass text to everybody in the company and said, faggot. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be that way, you want whatever.
Yeah. It's a
In
little
your
crazy.
home, that's fine. Don't put it out there and post it and
Yeah.
just like say that shit. And like I said, I think the thing that pissed me off the most is that the owner of the company and my boss was on that text and said nothing.
Yeah.
Just dead air, nothing.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I think every job I've ever worked for, if that happened, like, somebody would come over the air like almost immediately and be like, this is completely unacceptable. We'll
Yes.
talk about this, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way. Like,
Any
I would
any
get
other
fired
company,
on the
you're
spot
like
if I
HR
said that.
Monday morning,
Absolutely.
you're there.
Yep.
It's
On the
just
spot.
not. That's not okay.
Yep.
Besides the fact that we have 4 new employees, he doesn't know their sexual orientation to any of them.
Yeah.
But there is somebody there who is gay,
Yeah.
and that's hurtful and ridiculous.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But on to happier notes.
Yeah.
You see the charges against Alec Baldwin were dropped,
Yes, I did.
which
I
I
did see that.
don't. Me personally, and I know we've talked about it before.
They weren't going to.
There should have never been charges brought up against him.
There
He's
should have
just
been
the
charges
actor.
brought up against the armorer.
Yes, that's what I was going to say too.
Which
It's the same thing.
I don't think there was there? What was her name? I forget what her name was.
I don't-
She was like a 20-something.
As far as I know, no, nothing was brought up against anybody but Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, because and even I saw some of the video of like on site when the cops showed up and stuff, and they were kind of like scrambling to figure out what happened, and they were over with the armor, like the producer was, and the armor, and like the cops, and blah blah blah, and somebody else, and one of the people that was on site was like, "There shouldn't. Why is there live ammunition on a set? There should never be live.
No,
ammunition
not
on
at
a set."
all.
And she was like, I don't know, like I mean, she was panicking, which I don't think it was intentional.
No.
from anybody,
It was just an accident, but
but like that's a pretty big
for that charge to be
accident,
brought up against the actor because he was the one
Yeah.
holding the gun, like
which they handed to him and it was like, here, act this scene out. Kind
they
of.
handed it to him. The camera woman said, "Point it this way and pull the trigger," because that's the shot. They wanted to get the shot
Yep.
of him.
Yep.
So what's he supposed to do? You know,
know.
and not that I'm like, oh, poor Alec Baldwin, you know, whatever. I do feel for the guy because there should have never been charge dropped. That's now on his conscience too.
Yeah, for sure.
He just killed somebody, and
Yeah,
accident or not, like you can't just like,
Yeah, he was
whatever.
pretty bent out of shape. About
Yeah.
it. I mean, And rightfully so. I think personally, like, yeah, I would struggle with that a little bit. I mean, I don't think I would feel the full guilt of it because
it was an accident.
it's totally an accident that was
Yeah.
not caused by him. But
you have that now, like,
you would still
fuck,
bear that.
I'm the one that did that.
You would still bear that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, that's awesome. Now there are still options for more charges to be brought up later or something, which I'm like, good Lord. Now it's just people seeking money. And see, that's the hardest thing for me to ever say, yes, that person is guilty, no, that person's not guilty, is when they're a celebrity, because it seems to always be about money, makes it go away.
Well, the political or the criminal charges have nothing to do with money. Mm-hmm. It would be a wrongful death suit after
On that, yeah. I was thinking more like,
but it's unrelated.
do you remember Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
So the whole story, supposedly, what I read and heard, whatever. He hired this painter to paint a mural on his wall.
Yeah.
He walked out of his shower with a towel wrapped around him. She got offended, filing sexual harassment charges.
Yeah.
There was no rape. There was no sexual comments made. He's in his home, stepping out of his bathroom.
Yeah.
And she's like, $10,000, whatever it was. This all go away. Right away, I'm like, fuck you. He didn't do shit.
That's civil.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like going like this. So if they're a famous person and they're like, give me money, we're good.
Well, and he probably paid it because it's cheaper to do that than it is to
well, obviously,
hire a
because he
lawyer
was
and
able
all
to
that
play again and then move on. But it's just like,
But
I mean, then he got crazy and did other stupid shit outside, so he's never playing football again. But
I mean, maybe it was
again, and see, that's what I'm saying. That's like the hardest thing when some woman comes out and says, this famous person raped me.
Yeah.
Did they, or are you just trying to be famous and get money for it?
Yeah,
and it's so hard.
It is hard to make that distinction. I think that's been overplayed from the celebrity standpoint. They're like, no, I'm a perfect angel, and nothing. They're just trying to get money. Look at R. Kelly, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, because they could have done it, and then they're trying to play that side of it.
There's no way.
And then they could have not him.
50-something people.
Definitely.
That's also the other reason why I like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
and look how much more is coming out now that he's dead and he can't defend himself.
There are so many people, though.
Also, which yes, I'm not saying he wasn't. It was. And there are. I don't want to say well known, but even when he was alive, it was out there that this was going on. So it's like.
But his whole defense was like, yeah, they're just coming after my money, basically.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy to because they know they're going to get paid at one point or not. But there are defendants in that case or plaintiffs in that case that were they came out after the fact.
Like Corey Feldman?
Yeah. That was I'm not seeking any financial, retribution in this case. I just want my story to be heard.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, it's probably fucking true.
Again, with that one, so in that case, I'm the same way. It's probably true.
Yeah.
It happened. What about Aaron Hernandez? You remember him?
Yep.
Okay. Then they did this documentary.
Yep.
And now all those guys come out. Yeah, he was gay. He had sex with me in high school. And all this. I'm like, dude, first off, that has nothing to do with what this is about. But second, why would you bring that up?
Yeah.
He can't deny it. He can't defend himself. So now it's just really?
Yeah.
But again, celebrity wise, I mean, obviously there's those people you're like, yeah, right away, I know you're a piece of shit. So you probably did it.
Pretty good idea about it, yeah.
Sometimes. But it's just when these cases come up, it's like, okay, did he do it?
Yeah.
Or is it just for this? Did she do it? Or is it just for this?
Sometimes that's enough to sway a jury because
that's what I'm saying. I hate to be on one of those juries because that is so hard to
totally
to figure out.
Totally. And if they have enough money to fight it, and honestly, so going back to even the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial.
That was in my mind. Yeah, I was just thinking of that right now.
I didn't at first, and I still think there's a lot of mutual combat, mutual responsibility in that whole thing. Mm-hmm. I thought Johnny Depp was far more guilty than at the start of the trial, before the trial and the start of the trial, than I did after the fact.
I think a lot of people did.
I still think he's probably was a big part of it, and I think he is really good at manipulating that trial.
Agreed. I don't think he ever physically hit her. No, God, no, he's not a perfect angel.
Not a fucking perfect angel.
He obviously is very much a drinker.
Yeah,
and gets inebriated.
Yeah. which is fine.
And I'm sure he put his hands on, like he even
Yeah.
admitted, I grabbed her, turned, and put her on the bed. He probably
Yeah.
like threw her onto the
She
bed.
was a crazy bitch.
Do you know what I mean?
She is a crazy
I
bitch.
don't think he punched her or whatever. I mean, just like all of her stuff, she had 5 different videos
Yeah.
that she brought as evidence. Every single one of them, he'd slam a cupboard, he broke a glass, whatever, but he walked away. He never touched her.
She was like setting up the scene though every single time.
Yeah.
Like she knew what she was doing. She was like, okay, I'm gonna catch him and
Yeah,
doing
and
this or
has that.
whatever,
And then
like,
she would egg it on in
yeah,
the video. Yeah.
and like fuck, it was like entrapment kind of. But I don't know.
I'm not saying that he's probably never gotten so drunk and like threw her down or something.
Yeah, but it was.
Do I
kinda,
think he raped her with a bottle? No.
No, I don't either. It was kind of redeeming for him in a sense, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, I was like, I think he probably had got a part
More
in all of
than,
that.
yeah.
More than they put on in the trial.
But the whole thing wasn't, it's not like he was ever saying, I'm an angel, I'm innocent. He just said, you should have fucked my career by saying that I did this.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure at the what she was claiming at that portion didn't happen. There was probably something before that never got brought up or something. You know what I mean? But
she's obviously a psycho.
cuckoo crazy.
And she's made her rounds in Hollywood like big time.
Yes.
Like, and I think that some of the like James Franco is probably like, you're a psycho. Bitch.
He's like, thank you, Lord, that I left you.
Yeah, dude. And she's probably wild in the sack. That's the only thing. Because
Oh,
she's
I'm
not
sure.
even that hot.
No.
I don't think she's that hot.
No, not at all. She's not even a natural redhead.
She's like blonde all the time that I've seen
Yeah.
her.
Well, okay.
She looked like shit in court though. She looked like a fucking
Yeah. In
like she just got out of the shower or something and was like all like a wet cat.
the first one that made me know who she was Aquaman.
Yeah.
And she obviously it was the dyed red. Nobody's that red,
No,
But
I haven't seen Aquaman. That's why.
yeah, because it's not your kind of movie. But it was red, and like it's no secret. I've got a thing for redheads, especially if they have an
I
accent.
do like redheads. Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was like, oh, she's blonde, and then she's psycho. I'm like, all right, never mind.
Yep.
Jason Momoa, he's in another one of your favorite movie series.
Okay.
So I know you're gonna watch it.
Okay.
He is the bad guy in Fast 10.
Oh, great. Cool.
Your seatbelt.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what the movie's called. Your
No,
seatbelt.
it's just Fast X. I was like Fast 10. Your seatbelt. Yeah, he's the bad guy, and he's so it's. I mean, now you got Jason Statham, Vin Diesel, The Rock, John Cena, and now Jason Momoa in it too. And hopefully, look.
It's a hodgepodge. Of
I'm not gonna lie.
Shittiness.
I'm not saying they're like great movies and they should be worth all this money. I enjoy them. I can sit through them and watch them and be entertained. I don't think they're like top. They're never going to be on a list of my favorite.
Yeah.
I will watch the
It's
Fast
too much-
X.
too
I
much
will
chaos.
buy it to complete my series because I'm that kind. Like
They're
I am a
gonna
little
keep- they're gonna keep making
ADHD
them, bro.
on that. But they do need to end it. I preferred Hobbs and Shaw, which was The Rock and Jason Statham's spinoff of it. It was much better than any of those. You don't like The Rock as an actor either, do you?
Yeah, I like The Rock.
Who was
just
it in our
don't-
group that was talking and just said he was a horrible actor and didn't really care for his
He's not a
movies?
great actor. I don't think. He plays a typecast role. Like I think him and Kevin Hart are fucking phenomenal together. Like
Yes.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
Loved both of them, dude. I thought they
Central
was great.
Intelligence?
Yeah, it's great. But it's not. He's not acting really. He's just being himself, and it's just kind of
I'm trying to think. I
around with
think
Kevin
every
Hart.
movie he is that same. I
It's
get what you're
naturally
saying.
funny, like because they're just homies and they vibe off each other and they're funny together.
I think because I also grew up watching wrestling. I still watch it. I don't watch it like religiously. Like every Monday, I got to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
I record it Monday, and I'll be like, "Oh shit! 3 weeks ago there was an episode. I'll watch that one."
Yeah.
But as far as the wrestling side went, he was the best. With the mic, I guess.
Yeah.
Like just coming out and his shit talking and the stuff he would come up with, and they tried to do it with John Cena. John Cena sucked.
Yeah.
John Cena's not a good actor either.
No.
But a couple of the movies he's been in are funny, but I think it's more the people surrounding him, like Cock Blockers.
Nope.
You've never seen it?
Nope.
It's quite funny. He's not a huge part in it. He's one of the parents.
Okay.
It's all about these high school students. They're going to prom, and
Yes, I have seen that.
yeah, they're planning. So
I have seen it. It was.
he did the butt chug.
It was. Eh.
You didn't find some of the like the butt chug part? Come on, that was hilarious.
It was. Eh.
You laughed, motherfucker.
I mean, at parts in that movie. I mean, but
That's all I'm saying. Not every part. Like
Yeah.
What would Vin Diesel do? You know,
Okay.
when they rolled
What's-
the van, like,
what's the
"What,
other
really?"
ones?
But
What's the other one? Other movies
oh,
you
you
say.
wouldn't, you haven't seen them. They're the superhero movies. He's in
Oh.
Suicide Squads.
Yeah.
And then he has a whole TV show spinoff of Suicide Squad for his character. And again, he's not a good actor.
Yeah.
I never even finished the series. I was like, whatever. One of my favorite shows, Psych. He was the brother of the female cop in that. So he was in like a couple episodes. Again, acting, whatever. I'm not excited about it being in the Fast and Furious. Whatever. I do feel he's a better actor than Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan's movies were horrible.
That's not saying much.
No.
It's not saying much, dude.
But they tried to make him like the man with the mic, and he tried to be, I'm a rapper and all that. He wasn't good.
I just
don't think there's been anybody good with the mic since The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
and it was more like they would just talk shit and call you fucking names and then be like, it doesn't matter what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think they take that, where I was going with all of this, I think they're taking that because you can do this and you can act like you're taking a hit. Let's put you in an action movie and you're now the star.
Well, I think that, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it comes down to like The Rock is, his body type is probably like one in a billion.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like he's typecast because of that, because he's just a fucking massive person.
Yeah.
He's like Goliath.
And it's funny because he's like supposedly one hell of a nice guy.
But yeah, and I do think he's a really fucking great guy. I've seen a lot of interviews with him. Like, I think he's a great
I follow him on
individual.
Instagram.
And
I
he's
watch
very driven, like
Young Rock.
Yeah, I mean, he came from nothing. He built his whole, his whole career and his whole life from nothing. And so I do respect the hell out of him. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think he's a great actor, and I think that. But I do appreciate some of his movies. But which I think him and fucking every other just shitty typecast actor in a fucking Fast and Furious movie probably makes
go ahead,
sense.
say Ryan Reynolds. Go ahead.
It probably makes sense, but it's not something that I would watch. And Ryan Reynolds should
No, which
be
I
in a
know,
Fast and
which I
Furious
know.
movie. He probably should.
I get your hate for Ryan Reynolds.
He
I
would
understand.
probably belong in that.
I will never suggest you watch a movie with Ryan Reynolds in it or The Rock,
They should put Carrot
unless
Top.
it's Rock and Kevin Hart
They
together.
should also put Carrot Top and fucking Weird Al Yankovic in that.
I'd
new
watch the
Fast and
shit
Furious.
out of it. I would watch. You know what they would do though?
It
They
would
would
be
probably like
so
choose
great.
like, can you hit me with a car as you're flying through the air?
Fucking god.
Like Weird Al is skydiving and
they
just
can
boom.
They can fucking Austin Powers will be driving like his car too in there, and like it just make it just mash it all together.
Yeah,
Great.
they've definitely gone. I mean, first off, overboard by having 10 of them.
Yeah.
But second, just adding so many. It's kind of like what they were trying to do with the Expendables. Did you watch any of those?
Nope.
Do you know what they are?
Yep.
Okay. So I think this one is kind of like that. Like, let's just get
Yeah.
all
As
these
much,
famous
names.
people and who are doing big now. Yeah, the big
Yeah.
names right now. Put them in this.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck the storyline?
Yep.
And we'll go.
Yep.
Which I get it. But again, to complete my series and
Yeah.
I'll own it. I'll
Is
watch
this
it.
the last one?
I sure as hell hope so. 10 is more
Supposedly.
than 10 is more than enough.
If you keep buying them, along with everybody else, they're gonna keep making them.
I can't not buy it, Dan. I have the
There's
I have
enough
the
people in this country.
car wheel full
this
of them.
world.
I've got to add to.
There's enough people in the world that are exactly like you that are gonna buy that
yeah.
shit, and they're gonna keep making shitty ass movies about it.
Do you like Jason Statham?
Eh.
Yeah.
I've liked some of his movies. I don't. It's the same thing. It's too chaotic. It's too much like Crank is like. I'm just like I can't do it, bro.
You mean you weren't excited that where he ripped up Amy Smart's dress and fucked her right there against the
I
mailbox?
just can't. I can't, bro. I just feel like I'm having a fucking panic attack the whole time I'm watching that.
Yeah,
movie.
just trying to follow
Yeah,
along. It's just
dude.
different.
But in all of his movies are kind of like that. I like action for sure.
I
but
liked the
not-
Transporter movies,
I just don't like.
and I'm glad they stopped at 3.
Overabundance
They ended it
of
at
it.
3.
I don't like a movie where it's like gunfire for 80% of it. It's like there's no dialogue.
So you
It's
say you
really
never
just-
watched Shoot 'Em Up?
Yeah, it's like that, and it's like even the John Wick series. Like people rave about that shit, but I'm like,
I love 'em.
It's literally just
I do.
gunfire the whole fucking movie.
No, there's some kicks. There were some swords. There was some
it's
axes
kicks,
thrown.
kicks, swords, gunfire.
Yeah, that is the movie. It's
Yeah.
it's literally just fight scenes throughout the entire thing,
Yep.
which I get, but I do like those. I've already pre-ordered John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to claim these are the greatest movies. They're not in the top 5 of my favorites.
Yeah.
Was I entertained? Did I watch them? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can say that for a lot of movies. I just like movies.
Yeah.
You already know, like one of my top 5 is The Goonies.
Yeah.
That stopped at 1.
That's a storyline though. It's
Another,
an epic adventure.
yes. And
Has
it literally
everything.
can like even be watched today and still be relevant.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And they don't need to remake it.
No.
I thought Sandlot was that way too, but then they tried to
Totally.
remake it and then they ruined it by changing
I
cast.
didn't watch the
I didn't
the
either.
reboot.
I would not.
Yeah.
Because I don't like when they change the cast.
But the original's fucking great, man.
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Not going to say those were they were great movies and I just love them,
Pretty damn good.
but they are classics, I guess, and they should not have gone on after 2.
Yep.
Change the cast, put different kids in there.
Yep.
You don't need to do that.
National Lampoons. They're all good.
Yeah, I was like,
They're all good.
even the new one when they just called it Vacation. And
Oh wait, I'm just talking about the Vacation. I'm not talking about all the.
well, I mean,
there's a
Animal
bunch of other
House.
ones.
Yeah,
because like National
Van Wilder was actually a National Lampoons too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Van Wilder
they-
was good,
they
but
split off
not
and
when
all
they
that.
did like.
They split off and did like 10 other movies off
Yeah,
of that.
so Animal House was awesome.
Yeah.
I do like all the Vacations.
Yeah.
And I think the first Van Wilder, even though
Yeah, first Van Wilder.
you don't care much for Ryan Reynolds, the first
Yeah.
one was good. The second
was like his
was it
break.
2 or 3 or
I think
was
that
it
his
just
breakout
one?
role, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the first one was good. I didn't care for the others.
Yeah.
And I know off of that, then they got shit. What was that? Whatever. Escape from White Castle. All that with the character from Van
That was actually
Wilder.
good.
I know, but I'm saying they spun off from.
Yeah.
I think those are Animal House also.
Really? The white.
What were they
Escape from White
called?
Castle. The
I want to say Keenan Kel, but that was not them. It was shit.
it's like gotta get to White Castle or something. I don't even fucking.
Yeah, because it was Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
Go to White Castle was
Yeah.
one of them or something, and then I think there was even a third. It was a Christmas special something.
Those 2 were good. The first 2.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris. He is like one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I love his cameo in that.
Yeah.
What did I just watch the other day? There's a movie I just watched recently, and it's
Harold and Kumar.
Harold and
Harold
Kumar.
and
Thank
Kumar
you.
go to White Castle.
Yes, and then there was like Escape from Guantanamo Bay, and then
Yep.
Save Christmas or some kind of Christmas one.
Yep.
Like the Christmas one was funny because they kind of weren't friends anymore.
Yeah.
Because Kumi is growing up and Harold's or Roldy is still want to be the pothead. Yeah, it was. But yeah, those were good. I think those are National Lampoons also.
Yeah.
And like I said, Animal House is classic.
Yeah.
Don't redo Animal House though.
Yeah.
Don't redo.
I don't think they will.
They can't. I mean, you just
I don't
can't.
think they will.
I'm hoping that somebody like John Belushi or somebody else who's in it own the rights so that they can't.
Yeah.
Because John Belushi's dead.
Yeah. I know.
For a while now.
I know.
But I liked that era anyways. That was like my favorite Saturday Night Live era was back there. John Belushi, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray,
Yep.
John Candy, Eugene Levy. My second favorite was
Dana Carvey.
Adam Sandler.
Dana Carvey was
Chris
that era
Farley.
too, right?
I think he was.
But he was also in
he was
this.
closer to the Chris Farley era.
Well, he transitioned into the Chris Farley.
Yeah, I think it was
era.
the end of that one and into the Chris
It was
Farley.
like Tim Meadows, Chris Farley,
Dana Carvey,
Dana
Adam
Carvey,
Sandler,
Adam Sandler.
Chris Kattan,
Chris Kattan was a little
Will
bit
Ferrell.
later. He was later.
Not far later though. Like it
Yeah.
kind of went.
Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan. They were kind of the same generation.
Same with the two ladies.
And then Jimmy Fallon was kind of like was in that too.
Yeah.
Sherry O'Terry. What's the one that I'm thinking of though?
Guy or girl?
Chris Farley's best friend.
Not Adam Sandler.
He's in Black Sheep and
Oh, I love him. David Spade.
David Spade.
Yeah.
He kind of transitioned in that. He was in that. I don't know if he was in that Belushi era, but he was like a little
Close.
bit further, and then
It might have been like
transitioned in
again the
through.
end of it.
He was on
and,
for a while.
Yeah.
He was fucking
Lex
epic too.
hates that guy. I love him.
He's fantastic.
If he comes back to Boise because he came to Boise once and I missed him.
I saw him. We
want
saw him
to
in the
go.
airport. in Mexico, I think, right?
I don't remember. I
saw him in the airport.
I remember.
I was
that,
I was like, holy shit.
But I can't for certain say yes.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
But
yep.
I love him.
Yeah.
He had a TV show for a long time. Well, he had a couple. There was one called Just Shoot Me where like he worked. He was like the womanizer working at a magazine or some shit.
Yeah.
That was okay. Rules of Engagement. I love that TV show.
I don't think I've seen that.
So it's him. So it's I don't know. It's kind of like almost a Friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's 3 different like apartments in this apartment complex. I mean, there's more than 3, but so he is the single one who's just sleeping with whoever can. Then there's a young couple who just get engaged. They're dating, they're moving together, and then they're just engaged. And then there's the married couple who's been married for like 15, 16 years together.
Yeah.
And they're all like a group of friends, and they meet at a restaurant, and they hang out, and it's actually, I thought it was hilarious. And what is Goldie Hawn and I can't think of her.
Get some fat boobs.
What's her boyfriend? They never got married.
Al Pacino.
I'm gonna stab you.
He's one of my faves. Al Pacino.
Is he?
Yeah. He's one of my favorite actors.
What would you say your favorite movie of him?
Devil's Advocate.
Kurt Russell. I can't. It's not working, so I did think of it.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, and then she has kids. And they have a different name. It's not her daughter's hot.
Okay.
Does a lot of acting, and then she had a son also who is an actor, and I never put it together.
Yeah. There's a lot of those in
His
Hollywood
name is the exact same fucking last name too, and I still never
know.
like.
There's a lot of them.
It's just like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, and then the
Yep.
third sister who is in all these movies. I'm like, wait a second,
Yep.
that's a fucking Olsen sister. I didn't even know that.
Yep.
But he's the younger couple. Again, I wish I could think of any other names because fucking internet here camping doesn't work.
Yeah. No.
But he is the one who's engaged, and he's like very dumb kind of young guy, like literally dumb. Wants to get married so he can just have cake around the house. He gets so he'll always have cake.
What?
That's like his thinking, and then the married couple guy, like you would recognize both the wife and the husband. I can't think of their names. He's always like the supporting actor guy, but he's fucking hilarious. He's the big guy, and he's always talking in a deeper voice, but he's like this huge guy.
Okay.
And when we have internet, I'll be able to look him up. When I'm editing this, I'm going to look it up, and then I'm going to text you. It's these fuckers, and then you'll know. But it's quite a funny show. It's a lot of funny, but it's like a Friends kind of feel, or a How I Met Your Mother kind of feel.
Friends.
What about How I Met Your Mother?
I
hate
tried
that
to watch. I don't like that either.
Some of you wouldn't like it. I don't know.
It's terrible, bro.
It's
so overrated.
Agreed. Lex loved Friends. I bought her the entire series. I did watch every episode front to back with her.
Yeah.
Mainly to look at Jennifer Aniston's nipples. There wasn't an episode they weren't out.
Yeah. That's why that show probably did as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Joey, the stupid guy, was the only funny one. Chandler sucked. Ross was stupid. But her nipples and Joey's stupidity, I don't know.
If you watched it, I've watched like the Friends episode without the laugh track.
I don't think it's one
terrible.
I can watch. It's like there's series that I've watched all of them from start to finish.
Yeah.
And then I've watched them again from start to finish. Like Psych. I love that show. I could watch it again right now. I could start on episode 1 and watch it all over again.
I don't think I've ever seen that either.
Even though I have seen it multiple times already, I could do it again. I couldn't do that with Friends.
Josh loves Friends.
I would get bored with Friends. Psych, Supernatural, Burn Notice, all of those have done that. White Collar, which is awesome.
Never seen that either.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell.
Nope.
Okay. You don't Saved by the Bell at all?
Yep.
Okay. She was the hot one that was dating Zach.
I just don't. I never watched any of that shit.
Okay. Anyway, she was hot back then. She's still hot now, even though she's more mom-like. But she's the wife of an FBI agent who gets a art thief copycat guy who can, like, what's that called? Forger.
Yeah.
Who's really good. Gets him out to help him become, like, he's like their guy. Like, he sends them in on undercover on these because he's a bad.
Okay.
So he's like a white-collar criminal.
Yeah.
So they get him out, and the whole show is about this FBI agent having him. He's got a ankle bracelet, having him do all these different things to catch people. It's an okay one. It's pretty good. All of those, like, I can watch. Friends, I couldn't watch. again. I couldn't sit there and watch episode 1 through episode 850, whatever it is. I couldn't do that.
It's bad.
I've tried with Scrubs.
Can't do that, do you?
It's like, okay, this episode's funny. This one wasn't.
Nope.
Or
that
like
part
House.
was funny. I
This
don't like
wasn't.
House.
I never watched that entire thing either. I couldn't get through it.
That shit.
There's some weird ones I did like. Sleepy Hollow, the story of Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, I didn't.
I've
never watched
But I
it.
like that kind of witch,
Yeah.
supernatural kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've watched that one. I haven't watched it over and over again, but I watched that one. There's one called Elementary, which, look, I love Lucy Liu. I think she's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
She plays Watson, and then there's this Scottish guy who plays Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
But it's like nowadays, like he lives in a brownstone in New York, and he's just good at solving crimes. But she could have been a doctor, and I mean, it's Watson and Holmes, but it's just another they're going through and solving crimes kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me. I enjoyed it. I've watched it a couple of times, not front to back every episode, but it was good. I do have those weird ones that I like. But yeah, there's a lot. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Movies, I can watch so many different movies over and over and over again, but
Yeah.
TV shows, I'm like,
Yeah.
There's certain ones I'll put, I'm like, all right, I'm a little sleepy, but I'm not going to fall asleep yet. So I'll put the show on in the background and I'll watch it.
That's like The Office was like that for me
Yeah.
for a long time. Yep.
What about, so I was talking about this with Chase. I cut it out, but because he brought up The Office.
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, it was all right. I've watched episodes, but I just never got into it. And I was like, Lex hated it. But it was like, we talked, it was just like Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that show. It's so dumb. But then you hear them laughing in the background because it's not. I mean, yes, there's a lot of stupid shit, but it's also like you get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I Always Sunny in Philadelphia was excellent.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That is probably one I could always just.
I fucking
I
died
got nothing to
laughing
watch.
at that
Boom,
show,
I'll
man.
put it on an episode.
There's some funny ass shit
Yeah.
in that show.
And so we were talking about it because we talked about oh God, it was you that did not like Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
And
I just
Josh-
I've only watched like one episode though, and I was like,
See, again, I've watched all of them. I'm all
Yeah.
caught up,
yeah,
but I'm not going to go start episode 1 and watch them all over again.
yeah.
Probably Family Guy. I could. Simpsons.
I
I'd
can't
maybe,
watch Family
like-
Guy again either.
I'd maybe like
it's not as
have
funny.
it on, like, so like if Alyssa wants to watch it, I'll watch it from 1 to, and I'll laugh and
Yeah.
we'll watch. I'll pay more attention to certain episodes, pay less to others because you're like, okay, I remember this one, well, not that good. I don't think I could do the Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty, but then Eastbound and Down, I could totally start that from
Shit's
episode
so
1 and
funny.
watch it over
I
again.
love it. I've watched
Josh
it several
hated it.
times.
And I think it's because if I remember right,
He doesn't like
Danny McBride.
Yeah, he doesn't like Danny McBride.
Have you seen the new I keep saying new, but I think it's even over.
Yeah.
Vice Principals.
Yes. Yeah.
I started watching that.
Good too.
I love it.
It's not as good as Eastbound and Down.
No, but I also like his
Yeah, the guy off of
show. Yeah.
It's the guy off of
So many
Righteous Gemstones.
Righteous Gemstones,
It's-
also
it's Baby Billy.
Justified, and
Yep.
yeah,
Baby Billy.
like he's always like the supporting guy, but he
Yep.
is good, and I
He's
liked
fucking
him.
funny
And
too. Yeah.
when I started watching, I was like, oh my god, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And they fuck up that principal's house, and then it burns to the ground.
Burn your fucking house down, bitch. Yeah, it's good.
I like that, but I like Danny McBride.
Yeah.
I like his movies.
Yeah. Well,
What was the one?
and he writes a
Your
lot of that
Highness or
shit.
something.
He writes all that shit. So it's like he's very talented, man. I mean,
Yes.
I get that his humor's a little like over the top sometimes, but like Eastbound and Down is just different. It's fucking hilarious. It's crude. It's super crude.
Yes,
That's what I like about it.
but I think a lot of
Like,
his,
yeah.
just like again in Your Highness,
Yeah.
it's that same super crude, but it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
him and god damn it, what's his name? Him and his brother are both actors. His brother's in Neighbors. His younger brother's in Neighbors.
Really?
Not Danny McBride. His
Oh.
his cohort in Your Highness.
I don't know. I've seen that, but not.
His
it's
other
been a
brothers in
long
Spider.
time.
Did you watch? You didn't watch any of the Spider-Man movies. I'm trying to think of what else his older brother's been in. Anyways, it's
The Royal
him.
Highness is like one of his first.
Yeah, and who's in that with
movies.
him?
I don't know.
His brother in that is also somebody. But I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and it was
Yeah.
that same kind of humor. 30 minutes or less,
Yeah.
Not one of the greatest movies ever, but it is one of my top 10.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
And
I can watch it a lot.
Is Dan McBride in Pineapple Express?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the drug dealer
Again.
with the herpy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Seth Rogen, they fight, and then
Yeah.
I still love you, man. He's got him tied to the chair and shit. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's awesome. He's good.
Yeah.
And he does these roles that like you can't forget and you don't want to, I guess. Like look, Robert Downey Jr. has done roles you're like, fuck, whatever.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp has even done roles like, really?
Yeah.
Whatever. But like Danny McBride, it's just like, that was hilarious. Oh, that was good too. Oh yeah, that one was also yeah.
I lost interest in like South Park a while ago and then went back just recently, and I think I left off at like season 19 or something. And then they just released a new season, and I've been watching it, and it's fucking hilarious, dude.
See, I'm the same
It's
way.
so
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was always up to date. And then I kind of like lost interest, but
It's
I haven't
so
gone
funny.
back.
You gotta watch.
But I saw an episode the other day, and Stan and Cartman, they're all waiting at the bus.
Yeah.
And Stan's little baby brother comes, and he's like, watch this, and he kicks his brother.
Okay.
Is that a newer one, or is that an older one?
Well, what was the episode about? I don't remember that part.
I didn't get to see the whole thing.
Okay.
I know they were on their way to school, and he kicks his brother. He's like, kick the baby, and he boots his brother.
That's
Another part, he
one,
kicks him through the window of the
I
bus.
think that's an old one.
See, that's what I'm saying. I just don't. It was just it came on TV, and I couldn't remember if it
That's
was
an old
old
one.
or if it was new or.
They do like, what was the newest one that they did? I'm trying to remember like the premise of them. But there's some like the new ones are really good, man. They're fucking hilarious. There was one that's like, that you got to watch. It's like My Teenager Hates Me or something. That one is fucking hilarious. I sent that one to Josh. Was like, dude, check this one out because it's.
Is it on? What's it on right now? Is it like Peacock? Not Peacock. Paramount.
It might. No, maybe it's HBO.
It could be. It's one of those. I
think
know
it's
one
HBO,
of those. Well,
'cause it's on our Prime.
so it wasn't HBO to begin with. One of them had all the new movies,
Comedy Central, which was like
but like Peacock or Paramount had the new movies when they
Yeah.
came out.
it's
The
on
the
I'm
COVID
pretty sure-
movie,
I'm
then the
pretty
after
sure
the
it's
COVID.
HBO.
So is it now HBO? Okay,
I think so. Yeah,
which I have. So
It's good.
I'll have to check
you
it out.
definitely have to like at least like just start with like the newer episodes, and then you'll be like, okay, I'll
Then
go
I can
back, and watch some of the other ones. Like
So
yeah.
one of them that I can't stop quoting, and I don't know why, because it's not like it's like just fits into everyday normal talk. But it was like, Cartman had his mom make him a pot pie, and he's like, "No, Kitty, my pot pie." And he's like, "Mom, Kitty's being a dildo again." She's like, "I know a certain Kitty sleeping with mommy tonight." I'm like, "Oh my fucking
God. One of the newer episodes. So they, Cartman's mom is a realtor, and she's like, "I'm gonna go." You know, he tells his mom, "You got to get a job to work, whatever, because we can't afford, we can't afford anything or whatever." And so she goes gets a job as a realtor, and he figures out how much she can make by selling a house. So he gets into realty, and he makes his own fucking realty company in South Park, and then he starts selling all these houses and like basically like puts his mom out of business. and then the town revolts because the realtors like took their gerbs and like all that whatever. So he loses his job, and then they have to move out of their house because neither one of them are working. So they buy this old they move out of their house, and it's like, there's one piece of property that we can afford in South Park, and it's like an old like hot dog restaurant, and it's like shaped like a hot dog. And so they move into this fucking hot dog restaurant. So that's where they're
Just
living.
living in a giant wiener.
He's living in a hot dog this most recent season. He's living in a fucking hot dog.
Do they still do like every episode? Oh my God, they killed Kenny! Like
No.
how they used
They
to, like
stopped it.
every episode,
They
Kenny
stopped
was
it.
dying.
No. I haven't seen that for a
Interesting.
while. Yeah. That's a good point. I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check out the newer episodes,
It's
and
fucking
then
funny.
yeah, then it'll get me on to another one. I think we talked about in Vegas when we were there was Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
I have not seen any of the newer episodes because I grew up with they watched MTV kind of thing, and I
It's
know
pretty good. They just watch viral videos now, which is
Do they sound the same?
yeah, they do a good job with it, man. It's good. It's still funny.
The funniest thing that got me was, I want to say it was probably about a year ago. All of a sudden, Riley comes in, and he's like, I am the great Cornholio. I'm like, how the hell do you know that? You were not alive back in the 90s, so.
That show, I remember when that first came out when I was a kid, and I was not allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
But my buddy Dylan, his dad was like, I don't give a shit. You guys can watch it. And so we'd go over there and watch it. And
what was it? Wasn't after that was like Celebrity Deathmatch and that claymation shit?
Yeah. My parents didn't give a shit about that. Or Ren and Stimpy. Or, I mean,
Really?
it was just like Beavis and Butthead. I think because my dad watched it.
Was it like because they would
But he didn't watch anything
swear?
else.
Because there was nothing else.
No, but I think it's just because he watched it. But he didn't watch Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, okay. So he didn't know. Like,
yeah, he just didn't
okay.
know. So he was just like, yeah, you can't watch that. I'm like, okay.
There was so much adult shit on Ren and Stimpy.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean,
It was
even
worse.
Rocco's Modern Life.
It was worse than
There was,
Beavis and Butthead,
yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Clay, the Celebrity Deathmatch, like blood, everywhere. It's just.
Yeah.
I think Marilyn Manson came out with like a strap on, and it was like beating people with it. Like it was definitely a different kind of thing. But I don't know. I do remember growing up. I did like Beavis and Butthead, but I haven't seen any of the new ones.
It's pretty good. They did a good job reviving it.
I'll have to get on that and watch it and see.
Yeah.
But I know we didn't go as long as we normally should, but maybe we should end it before we get in trouble.
I think we're supposed to go for 69 minutes.
I know. And I told him, like, she's like, how long you be in there? I was like, half an hour, maybe 2 hours. We'll see. But we can end it now and then go hang out for a bit since you guys will probably be gone before they get up. I mean, I'll be awake, but
Maybe.
we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But
Yeah. It's 0 o'clock according to your microwave.
oh, yeah, my batteries die a lot. Like, so we went camping in Glens Ferry.
Yeah.
And then we took it and parked it. No shit. Nothing was left on. Batteries are dead when I got there to get
You
it.
have to take the batteries out and keep on a trickle charger, dude.
I only do that like when we park it for.
Or
The
get a
year.
solar panel and
I was like, because I can't just take them off every single time.
no, it's a pain in the ass.
Yes,
but that's
I mean, I
part
lose
of
chunks of my fucking finger.
that's part of parking it off site. That's the shitty part about it.
Yeah, because you can plug it in while it's at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what you got to do is just get like a solar panel and put it on the side of it to trickle charge it the whole
I
time.
hope nobody steals it.
They won't.
Look, I used to be a very trusting guy, and then I worked 6 years at Rent-A-Center, and I don't fucking trust anybody now at all, ever.
They won't take it in there.
I said, like we went from here and we walked over to the. I'm like, no, you lock every goddamn door. No,
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody anymore, and
Yeah.
it sucks. I don't like being that way, but
Yep.
I've met people.
Yep.
So,
Totally.
all right, man. Well,
Cool.
let's end this.
Okay. Dad's bods out, bitches.